Happy Monday, Monday fun day. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have to tell you, I'm so excited for today. So super excited. And I'm popping a bit early for the Inspirator LIFE. However, just 'cause I'm so super excited for who is going to be on today. And she's on already, yay! So I'm going to get Olivia on here, which I shall be able to add her in just right now. Let me see here. Add in Olivia. Oh, whoops daisy. That did not work. Let me bring that one back down. I should be able to add her in just a minute. Olivia, let me see. If you can put request add, then I'm able to add you. So for today's Inspirator LIFE, it is with the one and only Olivia Rebanal, who is one of my best friends in the entire world. She's my soul sister, and she is going to inspire you up just like she inspires me all the time. And as I'm giggling right now, I am looking behind my shoulder here at, hi Stephanie, hi Christina, how are you guys? At all the American girls behind me. I promised my girls I would leave them right here because I've been working on their hair. And yes, so 3 daughters, lots of American girls. Okay, you guys, so Olivia Rebanal is joining us. And Olivia, let me see, can you please press add on your screen? You should be able to press add in there. Then it allows me to add you in to split screen it. So you can join me for this wonderful episode of Inspirator LIFE. Are you able to do that? I know you're here because you just logged in. Or if I can do it from my desktop. You guys, thank you for your patience right now, for those of you that are logging in, because this is week 3 that I am in of doing the Inspirator LIFE. Not sure. Okay, Olivia, let me see if I can do this right now. I'm going to add you in for my desktop if I can. It's kind of funny seeing myself live on 2 screens right now. But let's see, how can I do this to add in? So those of you watching again, patience so much. Oh, buggers. There should be a way to have you come in and you just log on, and I invited you and it should be set. Olivia, let me see if that's it. Those of you that are on, do me a favor, we're kind of stuck here for a minute. This hasn't happened before till we're adding in. I tried to do the guest add and it's not working, as well as Olivia. So maybe if you log off and log back in again, Olivia, it might work. Well, we're trying to get Olivia on here. I have a question for you guys for this Monday. It is a new Monday. It's a brand new week. It is the first full week of March. This is one of my most favorite months of the year because it's St. Patrick's Day month. And St. Patrick's Day is officially 3 months after my birthday, so it's like my true quarter of what are you doing with this next year of life? How are you changing things? What's going on? And I just came back from the Entrepreneur Fest that was so much fun, and I met the most amazing people. Are really wanting to goal up, and not just goal up, but do things to where they are living their life so much bigger and more richer and giving back. And here we go. Yes, Olivia's going to join on right now. Approve. Will this work? And I cannot wait for you guys to meet Olivia because she is one of my favorite persons in the world. Thank you for your patience, you guys. It says it's adding. This happened with Jessica a couple weeks ago when we were doing this. It took a while to add her in. I don't know if it's a technology thing between Max and not Max. If that has anything to do with Facebook, I don't know. But let's use it.
Here I am.
Yes, it worked.
Okay.
Yay. Okay. Olivia, did you have to log out and log back in again, or what did you end up doing?
I had to go on my phone.
Okay. I have a feeling, unfortunately, so you know, it's good for me to know that because then in the future I will tell all the other guests that they have to use their phone. They may not use their computer. It is not an option to use the computer because it creates too much of a challenge. Okay, you guys, let me introduce again. Christina, Stephanie, I hope you guys are still on here because you're going to love Olivia. Olivia Rebanal is one of my best friends in the whole entire world. She is actually one of the reasons why I miss Alameda so very much because she made Alameda even more of a home for me as an adult when I lived there. She's an amazing mom to, oh, that's okay.
Get rid of it.
She is an amazing mom to 4 kids that are aged senior in high school down to shy of 3, 2.5, almost 3. And which is crazy to think that Tristan is almost 3. Oh my goodness. But she is a huge advocate for healthy food for all, and she does amazing work in her job front. She travels all over and is able to do so while being an active woman, an athlete, an advocate for adventure and living adventurously and wonderfully with your kids while also giving back. So with that, and honestly, she's the best person for Hood to Coast and the best person to go running with. We would have weekly runs, and we wouldn't feel normal if we didn't have our afternoon runs together, and we still don't. So often we'll be talking on the phone with each other and having our phone dates, but while we're active, not sitting down, because that's how we roll, right, Olivia?
Yep.
So, yep. So, okay, my dear, how are you doing today? And why don't you share with these wonderful people watching? Oopsie, I'm gonna take this one. Okay, now mine went on the noise right there. Why don't you share with everyone watching what you do though, actually, the advocacy part, like what you do with your regular job?
Oh, my work. Okay.
Your work part.
Yeah, I work for a nonprofit organization that's national, and the whole thrust of my work is bringing investment back into underinvested communities. So I work in communities like Detroit that needs a lot of attention, specific neighborhoods in Washington, D.C., and in all of the communities in the Bay Area and throughout California that needs folks to focus on them so that they can get access to resources that they have not ever received.
Resources such as
investment, large dollar investment.
Yeah.
So I bring funds. I bring millions of dollars into communities that haven't seen that level of investment for a long time.
You know, I have a question for you. Just about this right now, what got you into that in the first place? It's probably, I mean, it's such a loaded question, I know.
It's
but
loaded.
What got you to this? I know it's so loaded, Olivia. I know it's one that you and I should have on a run. But for everybody watching though, what got you to that? Because also you're a giving person, you're a faith-based person. You give so much with your heart, but what got you into doing what you do right now?
A lot of people ask me that. I conduct interviews for my undergraduate college, and a lot of people will ask what I do now and how I got into that. And I will tell them that my application that I hand wrote for my college had everything to do with, the essay had everything to do with service and how service was very much part of me. I wrote about the program that I started as a volunteer, and by the end of my high school career, I ended up running a program that was matching up volunteers with illiterate adults in what became Silicon Valley. I mean, if you go to that area now, it's so different, but it was a community that my parents often requested I didn't visit because it was socioeconomically different than ours. But I was running a program there for illiterate adults. And I wrote about that because serving communities and empowering those that have been excluded from certain communities is very much part of my fabric. And I think that thread is continuous throughout my life. In college, I did a lot of organizing for marginalized communities, including my own, advocating for things like ethnic studies, representation among our professors that was more representative of our student body. So it continued, and it continues in my career.
I didn't know that part about with the Silicon Valley, obviously for the reading. That's really, so here's the thing, guys. Here's what's so wonderful is when you decide to go out on a limb and do a quote unquote Facebook cast, because it's not a podcast, but you get to ask them your best friends, the most amazing questions, the people that you admire the most, the woman, for me, this is going to be so many different women on here that I am inspired by, that I adore. And Olivia truly is one of my best friends. She knows the ins and outs of so many, we've had the deepest conversations. I've never asked her that question before. So
I know it's fun.
It's really interesting.
As you know, I'm relaunching our website, the website that we started almost 10 years ago. Tomorrow it goes live. And maybe if we do something like this, I can interview you in my free time.
Yeah, I know, in your free time, I know. So on that fun note, let me tap into that a little bit. So the website that Olivia is relaunching is Urban Mamas. And for those that don't know, we've been in the blogging world for a long time. It's actually how we met. Funny enough, let me get some background. Olivia and I knew of each other in Portland, Oregon, but we didn't meet there. I had paid for advertising on Urban Mamas.
You were our first advertisement.
Was it
First.
really?
Yeah. Baby
First?
boot camp.
Oh, I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, baby boot camp was the first one.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I could probably
I
look
was
up
just
the
talking to somebody
records.
earlier today.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So, and I
15
paid
years
a lot. I
ago?
mean, I haven't had,
14 years ago?
no, because Mackenzie's going to be 14, so it was 13 years ago.
Okay. 13
Yeah.
years ago.
So, okay, so I was your first. So I helped put food on your table, Olivia.
That's
Look
right.
at that. That's
No.
crazy.
No, that's my unpaid job. I don't take any money out of that. Enterprise, that funds other things. What does that fund? It funds fun stuff, fun community mama events. Yeah.
But with it though, what I'm trying to get at though is that for those who get into the blogging world, we had been in the blogging world for a long time. And so Olivia was blogging with Urban Mamas, and I had a blog via Baby Boot Camp that evolved into Dig Deep, Play Hard, which both of us have leveraged into different things. And we've worked with different brands, and it's also allowed us to use our voice in a bigger way with that being a platform. Such as many of you guys watching, you've got a platform through your business. And so I work with many different entrepreneurs. But one of the things that we're both passionate for with having our business be a platform for is active commuting, right? And getting mamas to think about how they can be more active with their kids. So here you are with 4 kids now. What would you say would be 3 of the top tips for how to keep active commuting on the busiest of days possible? Hi, Tara. How are you? Tara's watching, who is a big runner herself. And those of you probably not.
My sister-in-law is watching. Hi, Ray. And my realtor is watching. Hi, Dale.
Hi, Dale. How are you doing?
So you're asking, what are the top 3 things to keep them active? Well, one thing is
keep yourself active. Yeah,
active commuting. Number 1.
Yeah, active commuting.
Refuse to give them rides. Then it works. I mean, our lifestyle is built on the assumption that you can get yourself to wherever you need to go without getting into our minivan. And it works pretty much. The other day, Tati was asking for a ride, and I sent her a coupon for 3 free Lime bike rides. Here in Alameda, I don't know if you were still here when they launched the dock-free bikes, and all the kids use it. Super easy. They're everywhere. And so for the teens, that's a really great way to get around our little town. Where we live has everything to do with access to sidewalks, bike lanes, being close to the store and the school. And that is a privilege, I will say, that we're able to afford to live in places that are close to amenities. And we are very specific ever since. We used to live in New York City, and it goes without saying that we could find a place to live where we can walk to the transit, walk to the store, walk to work, use transit. And so I think that is kind of just our baseline. We just assume that we're going to be able to get around without having to drive. When we started moving and we moved to Atlanta, we mapped our condo to the store. It was within a mile, which is a long walk. We weren't biking yet at that time. It was also a mile to the metro, to the rail, MARTA. Okay. In Portland, I think
when did you start biking?
When did you started biking as a family in Portland, Oregon. When we moved to Portland,
so
life was compact, but it was also the momentum. A lot of people, of course, bike
the energy around it
there, and it doesn't matter if it's raining, and it doesn't matter if you have kids. And it doesn't matter if you're going to the supermarket. You're going to bike or walk. So there's a lot of peer pressure there, and we succumb to that. And we have been a 2 cargo bike family for over a decade. So that means, and the extra cycle, I just went to the dentist, and the extra cycle just got noticed. People are always still saying that's quite a bike, because, I mean, I opened up the bags to get my stuff out of the back of that bike, and the baseball stuff fell out, and a soccer ball fell out. But it's my minivan. I can
Let me
fit
tap on that for a second,
more
Olivia,
stuff in that.
Exactly. I said, because you said it's your minivan. Because here we are. So when we moved to Boise,
Mm-hmm.
it was one of my biggest concerns was how am I going to keep up with the active commuting with biking and walking everywhere? And Olivia and I would have conversations about this. But it's not just a big part. Hi, Susie, by the way, glad that you popped on. Definitely watch later. You'll appreciate this. But I was concerned about the winter and concerned about winter months and concerned about how am I going to do it when it's really cold?
Mm-hmm.
And not just cold, but where it's snowing cold, right? To
Yeah.
where it is really, it's, but it's such a big part. Like it's not just,
California girl.
Yeah. And having lived in Portland though too, doing everything in the rain and you get accustomed though to being in the sunshine a lot. It does make you a little bit, lighter on the
thin
what would you say,
skinned.
Olivia? I don't know.
Little thin
skinned. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my biggest.
It's happening to
concern,
me
the
too.
Winter factor. However, here it is now, 7 months in. I bike everywhere still. The kids are layered up. I've learned. I've asked the guys. Boise has got so many people that bike, and the bike rack at the YMCA are packed. And I've been asking every single person, what gloves do you have? What layers do you have? Because we've got the bike trailer in the back. So Finley's in the bike trailer. She's bundled up in blankets. I found from another guy. Just use a sleeping bag back there that they can cuddle up in, and you're just fine as long as you're layered up. Because what it does, though, is it creates less stress when you're driving than it is when you're driving. When you're driving with kids and the car seats and logistics, if you can go someplace within a few miles, it's so much easier to ride your bike there than it is to drive. It really is. And so with the active commuting part though too, you're also really good at running and walking everywhere to pick up the kids. When we were in Alameda, we would be running to go pick up the kids together and catching up that way in between work calls. So when did you, or have you always been running with the kids, or is that more from, go age-wise with your kids too, from Philly down to Tristan? How does it work? So the people watching know what your kids' ages are.
Ophelia is now 17. She's leaving for college next year. She was a mostly pedestrian baby because she was a baby when we were living in New York City. So we walked everywhere, walk. Then when we moved to Portland, Tatiana was born. And so we used to come to that peer pressure. We got a trailer. That was one of David's birthday presents. And then we just kept gearing up. And what I would say about being active and trying to get around active is that you need the gear. You need your winter clothes, you need the rain gear, and it has to fit your style. So, a lot of people in California, they're a little bit more dressy. And so, if you're still going to be outside in the rain, I think that you need to stock up on dressy, insulated, waterproof apparel if you're going to be active. And so then we got the bikes, and then we biked everywhere. It feels like, and again, it had to do with the peer pressure, and it also is convenient. I agree with you when you say it is more convenient to put kids and hustle kids when they are outside enjoying fresh air. There's so much to look at. It's more interactive for them than just kind of sitting in the back seat.
The conversations on bikes are so much better.
Yeah, and I can touch them, that they're sitting right behind me. We can be tactile, and it's so much easier for me to pass, some snacks right behind me than behind me in the back seat. I will say, though, when it comes to the peer pressure, California definitely has an effect, too, because we're rushing here. Everything is kind of hustling. And so as a result, if you don't have that luxury and privilege of the time, then you're in your car. And as the events stack up, you're going back to back to back to back, from practice to church to dance. Yes. And activities get further away. We'll have to be in the car. But to the degree possible, we're on our feet and we bike as much as we can. We live in a town that invites us to do that. And that is the sweet, sweet thing. I love to be outside. What I notice that is that I'm always outside, and a lot of people are looking at me, looking outside in, or whatever it is.
Yep.
I get a lot of comments, oh, we saw you riding, walking, etc. I can't see anyone inside the cars, especially if they're tinted and the windshield is sort of slanted. I don't see anybody. So I love seeing people out on the street too. At the 8 o'clock hour and the 5 o'clock hour, you just see everybody out on the streets. And I sometimes say, I always have to keep one hand up, waving, and one hand on my handlebar.
Yep.
Hey.
Yep.
And so it's a great community builder too. To know people in your neighborhood, as funny as it sounds, like these are the people in your neighborhood, that means a lot to me.
But it's so true, though. It connects, though, because the thing is, it's extra eyes and it's just community building. I was coaching somebody earlier today. We were talking all about that because she started using Instacart to make her life a little bit easier, just time-wise. We're talking about like windows for time because she works and juggling, trying to fit in more fitness. She's like, but I miss seeing people. It sounds kind of silly. She goes, but I miss seeing people at the grocery store, right? Here we are trying to simplify her life by giving space. So like, why don't you go to the grocery store for Trader Joe's stuff? Because you see most of your friends at Trader Joe's. Meet other Instacart, do that for Costco and the things that you don't want to do. She goes, oh, that's a great idea. And it was just the more seeing people in your neighborhood. It sounds silly, but it's so true. Because that little interactions that make a big difference because the art of connection and community.
It's so funny. Because I was thinking about Sundays at New Seasons, which is one of our favorite markets back in Portland.
I missed that from Portland so
like
much,
if it's been raining too
ever.
much and you haven't been able to get out and you need some socialization, go to New Seasons, go to the supermarket, especially on a Sunday. It will take you 2 hours because you're going to be catching up with all your friends there.
Yep. But you love it so much.
Yeah.
Because you leave like, oh my gosh, that was like the best social day ever. And I got my groceries along the way.
Or you avoid it then if you really need to hustle and get some.
Right. Or you avoid it and you go with baseball hat on. That is actually
head down.
I know, head down. So you know what, I'm looking over to my own questions because of the fact that I know I can segue off. But one is, with yourself being so busy, with working full time and with the kids and with juggling all their different sports, because the Rebanal kids are playing basketball, soccer, actually those two sports pretty much. Baseball too. Sorry, baseball and baseball's nonstop. Oh my gosh. And in Alameda, baseball is a religion. And so anyhow, when it comes to yourself, what is the best way for you to find downtime with your busy life? And I say that in the sense downtime, not just the running time, because you're really good finding running windows, but you're a spiritual person and you fly a lot for work. You travel a lot for work. But how do you find little windows of just downtime for you to have that quiet time to center yourself, to ground yourself?
How funny that my dentist was just saying that to me today, because she said, I saw 3 Rebanal children last week and now I see you. And she said, you know, you're so busy, but what I say to you is that don't forget about your time and make sure that it's your time. This is my dentist. She's like working on my teeth. And she said, you know, when she was raising her kids, and she has 2 and now they're in their 20s, and she still talks to them every day, by the way, which I love, which is testament of their relationship. But Dr. Larson said, you know, my husband would say, why don't you go walk to the store with the kids and then you can get a walk in or whatever. And she said, no, that doesn't count as my workout. That doesn't count as my time away because I'm still with the kids. For me, my luxury, strange as it is working, because I do travel and I carve out time to have a moment, to have a minute when I'm traveling. Now, it's really exhausting because, as you know, I travel east all the time, and I will take a red eye, sleep on the airplane, land, and go straight into meetings from 9 to 5. And then I'm so tired, but I force myself to have some downtime. On a recent trip to Washington, D.C., I found my high school best friend, and she and I went to, as I told you, Soul Cycle.
Yes.
My first spin class.
Olivia, scoot back a little bit, just because when you're talking, it's so close. There we go, so we can see your full, beautiful face. Because, wait. I can't. There we go. Just because the half screen, I love it, but I just realized like it's better to sit back a little bit. There we go. So
is this okay?
Your full, beautiful face. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So you were at Soul Cycle, which I know you love so very much, and you want to go back every day to Soul Cycle.
Whatever.
It's just your
whatever my opinion is of spinning, it is what it is. But the point is that, you know, when I am away, I will try to carve out a minute for myself to do something different and special. And so in that case, it was Soul Cycle. In previous visits, we will do a yoga class together before we grab dinner. I will go for a run. As you know, I run a lot, but here when I run at home, it's mostly functional. I'm running to hustle a piece of paper that the kid forgot over to the school, or they forgot money for something. I'll go run. I have the luxury and privilege of having a job where I can work from home 2 or 3 days a week too. So I think the travel is really where I can fit in a little time for myself, or going to the dentist, because then I get some wisdom from my dentist. And I don't check email. I don't have kids asking for things, and I'm not moving. It sort of feels like spa day when I'm just there.
And that kind of funny that you're saying the dentist feels like spa day for you, yet for other, your teeth look beautiful, by the way. Yet for other people, they go like this with the dentist, like, stay away.
Yeah.
But I want to tap into what you just said, though, about traveling, you know, how you're able to get your downtime with traveling, because you do travel a lot. I mean, you're back, forth, East Coast. Your frequent flyer miles are off the hook. And that being said, you've done that while juggling your family and running and staying so connected with the kids and with the older girls, to where my oldest and Olivia's second of 4 are the same age. Okay. So they're in 8th grade, and then Philly's a senior. And so you look at that, and to really stay connected with your kids is super, super important, because as they grow up, they get busier, but that's when you really need to connect with them even more. And so you really get rooted in the conversations, and so rooted in consistent, just not just texting, but hearing their voices, because you can feel the octaves in their voices where they're at. But with you talking about traveling, though, and finding that time for adventure, I actually want to tap into that, because finding little adventures, I talk about fitness adventures all the time, and how important it is to create fitness adventures in everything that you do. And we're going to talk a little bit about going bike camping, because it was a fun fitness adventure that we did with our families, but that just us moms did. But when it comes to adventures and just saying yes to doing new things, what's so great about that is the fact that when you're traveling, you're doing that. So when you're with work, you're still getting some fun in there. So it's not just work focused. The reason I'm emphasizing this is that there's people that are watching right now that might be traveling. I just, was reading about on Facebook a friend that has so many hours, so many delays, so many flights, just trying to get to Europe to meetings in Finland, and has been at the airport. And it's like, oh. So even with that, when you're at the airport, stuck at the airport, go up and down those stairs, walk all around. I was stuck at the airport the other day for an hour prior to my flight. I went up and down those stairs a half an hour. Somebody was checking on my backpack, and I was like, no, it's my backpack. Don't worry. It's not an abandoned backpack. And just going up and down the stairs, stairs, walking all around.
Baltimore Airport has a gym. Because I would just,
Airport has a yoga studio.
Yeah. I mean, I would be happy to like run around in circles at a terminal, but I don't have anywhere to put my stuff. And maybe if I need to shower, so a gym or a place to like leave your stuff.
But just mean like, even if to move a little bit, those things where you're not just sitting down.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes to adventures, though, to where you're creating in DC, you went to Soul Cycle, you tried different yoga classes, to where you're getting the most out of where you're going when you have to go for work, but you're making the most out of that work experience. And I just had that in Salt Lake, to where on Tuesday, before I popped in and worked right when I got there, because I had a window to work, earlier flight, right? But I was like, I really want to go for a long run. So I planned my run to be midday so I can explore the city and have that beautiful time outside before being game on work mode for the rest of the entire week, actually.
You need it.
And it was so awesome, because I found this park in Salt Lake City a friend had said to go to that was beautiful. And so I got a gorgeous run in, went by the Capitol. But I came to then the conference game on, refreshed, ready to go, right? To where it was, okay, got that window in prior to being full work mode, which makes a big, big difference. And so that's a way to, you just make it happen. So on that fun note, question, how is it that you came up with the idea to go bike camping a few years ago, with us having that fun adventure over, it was not Memorial Day, it was over Labor Day? And tell everybody here what we did, because that was such a fun adventure, and it might inspire them to go bike camping with their best friends too.
Oh, hopefully. Hold on.
Hopefully. I hope. It was really fun, guys. It was one of our.
I love biking, as you know, and I love to see terrain on the bike. As you know, you were just talking about DC, and remember, I love to save a few bucks, and DC has 5 different bike shares. And whenever I travel there, I try to skip the metro and skip the Uber to get from meeting to meeting and just take a bike share. It's a great way to see the Capitol. And on Pennsylvania Avenue, going up to the White House, to the Capitol, they have their bike lane is right in the middle of the avenue. It's so beautiful and totally protected. I have one of my kids is texting me, but bike camping was one of the best activities that we did before we left Oregon. There were about 5 families, and we put together a trip that was about 55 miles up and over some mountains and out into some cabins. And it was always something I wanted to recreate, like that feeling of just being so accomplished, of getting oneself to a place. It felt so empowering. I always wanted to recreate that here with a friend, family friends. So you have to find a partner with the same level of sense of adventure and can-do attitude. And so I really think that you need to find somebody that will get through.
Say yes.
Yeah, say yes and try it. And so I tried to map something that was manageable for the kids, because you and I were going without other adults. It was just you and me, and I was going with my 3 kids. 2 of them on their own bike and 1 on the back of mine, and came up with a route that I thought was manageable. It was only 35 miles and not 55. And we also got the privilege of taking the ferry and then biking over the Golden Gate Bridge. And so that's all really beautiful, fun, and exhilarating. And then the day gets long. So, I mean, that's within the first 10 miles. Have all that fun experience on the ferry and crossing the Golden Gate Bridge. Then it gets hot, and then you get tired, and then you get hungry, and then you're so thirsty, and then you don't want to go anymore, but you're only 10 or 15 miles in, not even halfway there. So you have to have an attitude and a buddy with an attitude that is willing to say, look, we're going to have some fun. We're going to take a break. It's not a race. We're going to get there when we get there. And the journey is part of the destination, which is what I've always felt about biking. It's not about getting to where I need to get. It's about enjoying where I am, because this is where I'm supposed to be. And I mean, that was a long day. I think all of our kids.
It was so much fun, though. The thing is, like what you were saying about the journey part. So here's the piece, guys, and this is what I want Olivia to share. So the bike adventure that we went on was we started in Alameda, and we had our kids. I had Emerson at the time was in kindergarten, and Finley was a baby. So initially I was going to pull Finley in the bike trailer, but I realized that was a really long way to pull Finley for that long of a ride with the age she was at. She was 7 months old. So Jack stayed with Finley, and he brought her up to where we were camping. He brought her up so I could nurse her that night, and brought Emerson up so Emerson could experience part of it, because she couldn't bike the whole way. For her legs at that time, that was too much for her to bike that journey. If I had a seat on the back of it, she would have been in the seat, or a ride along, something like that. But anyhow, what was so fun with it was the fact that we were mixing up daughters that we were talking to. We were all laughing. We stopped in the tunnel along the way just to scream and yell and be in shade for a little bit. It was the hottest weekend. It was such a hot weekend in the Bay Area. And even the last hill to go up, you have to climb up this last hill to get into China Camp. And it was hysterical. It's like, okay, kids, come on. You can do it. Come on. You can do it. And once we got there, everybody was in heaven. Jack came up with some cold beer, and we're like, oh, thank you. And the kids were all running around and playing, and they were so dirty. And that next morning, what was great was the fact that since we had older kids there, they were able to play at the camp. And Olivia and I even got a few miles of a fun run in that next morning. And we got to explore where we were from different heights up, but just being the 2 of us, a little window for the 2 of us to go for a run before we biked back. When we biked back on the ferry, I'll never forget getting the Larkspur ferry to go back. The kids felt so accomplished.
Yes.
They were so excited. And we got to Rockwall, which is a winery in Alameda, and we cheersed each other just for having a fun time. And then we let the 3 big kids bike back. to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
It's my brother.
See you at New Year's this year. Who's here, right? No, who's in the Philippines?
No, the one that's in Portland is watching.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, not the one in the Philippines. Wait a minute. That's okay.
The one in the Philippines is actually in the Bay Area. He's visiting for a month.
Oh.
I just saw him yesterday.
Okay, I did not know that.
Anyway.
Oh, okay.
We'll catch up more later.
So you would be in the same time zone. Okay. But what was so fun though is that when we came back, though, here it is that we've experienced something else with our kids, and then the kids felt so much. I know Tati had gone with Philly a bunch, but for say Mackenzie, like, we're gonna bike down the island and bike home now, and it's a good 5 miles, 6 miles, 5 miles when they were biking then, and they felt so independent, and that in itself was really cool for them to feel prior to starting 6th grade. That was or 5th grade. Was it before 5th grade or 6th grade? Can't remember.
I don't remember.
Regardless, it was so cool for them to do it. And
that's when I had 3 kids and not 4.
Right after that is when you were pregnant with Tristan, like literally right after. Another fun adventure, and this happened right after this, you guys, that you'll appreciate this. Hey, everybody watching, this is my dear friend, Olivia Rebanal, who is my active buddy, who is my inspirator,
This is my friend, Erin.
I'm glad you guys can hear about this biking part, is that, we're already at 1:35, so we'll pop off in just a quick minute, is that Olivia will say yes. When we talk about saying yes to adventures, I asked Olivia, this is funny. So doing triathlons all the time, like, oh, it's Olympic distance, that's a sprint distance, you can do it, no problem. So I'm like, Olivia, do you want to do the Mermaid Triathlon with me? It's going to be in Capitola. It's going to be beautiful. For those of you who don't know Capitola, it's right by Santa Cruz. It's gorgeous. One of my favorite
on the ocean.
The ocean. Amazing.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And hello, Jane. How are you? And so Olivia said, sure, I'll do it. No problem. She bikes, runs, no problem.
I swim.
So we get up early. We get down there. And then, and she got in a wetsuit from her friend to borrow. And as we get to the ocean, she goes, Erin, I've never swum in the ocean before. I said, what? We're about to race right now. Like, we're about to do a triathlon in the ocean. You've never swum in the ocean?
So humiliating.
Are you okay? And she's like, I can do it. I'm like, you can do it. Just try your hardest. Don't get scared. You totally can do it. And then she tried, and she went out there and decided it wasn't the right fit for her that morning, but did everything else in the race. And we had so much fun. And it was one of my favorite memories because why? She just said yes. And she took this big leap of faith to do it. Huge leap of faith. Hey, Carrie, how are you? Huge leap of faith to do this race. And it was such a fun memory. And then lo and behold, she actually found out later she was pregnant.
While I raced. Yes.
Yes. And so what's so fun with that is the fact that that's just how she rolls. That's how we roll. You do it. You have a fun time. You say yes. You go for these big goals. And you know it will work out. It may not be what you anticipate at first, but it's always going to work out. You'll always find a fun adventure within it. So let's go into Inspirators, Olivia, because we're going to pop off in 4 minutes. An Inspirator is an inspiration and motivator in one. When it comes to Inspirators, you are surrounded by so many different ones, but who would be your key inspirators in fitness, adventure, love? Because you and Dave have an awesome marriage and you communicate all the time, something inspirator in love, marriage, or that side of life, and on going for goals.
All in one?
It could be a few different people.
Well, you mentioned David, and he's my number one inspiration. Mm-hmm. He taught me how to take risks and to be gracious and to be humble and to be loving and very reasonable all at the same time. You know, we moved to California for us to take a huge risk all together. He wanted to do his doctorate, and for good reason, and it wasn't rash whatsoever. It made a lot of sense, and we watched him tackle, scale, and conquer that challenge in record time. And for me and for the kids to see that, to witness that, was amazing. He's so driven and focused. He sets aside time to get his stuff done. And if it needs to get done, it's going to get done, and it's going to get done well. And I learned from that, you know, just be focused. I think I'm naturally, as a mother, a working mother that is multitasking all the time, it's my inclination to just do everything at the same time. Like I keep, you know, I'm kind of checking my work email right now. But he would say, shave it off to what you're focusing on and get it done first and well. And I try to embody that. I have a hard time though.
I like your face when we say like, I try to embody that.
But it's a good one. That's a good one to continue to strive for.
It's a great one.
But
as we call it, multitastic. There's two things in one.
That is, that's a great grounding and foundation for our entire family. So it's awesome that we got to witness that, and we practice that all the time. My best friend in Portland, as you know, is Hagedorn, and she and I started Urban Mamas together with some other mamas, and she is the prime example of saying yes. She taught me probably how to just say, yes, let's do it. We're going to take our kids, or they're still in diapers, and we're going to go snowshoe a mile into some remote area and stay in a cabin with no water and electricity. Yes, we're going to do it.
Sure, why
and
not?
We're going to have fun. And I mean, to this day, there are memories that were made there that will go down in history. And that was so early on in our friendship. There are so many more memories that have come before that.
Too. So the foundation.
So I am inspired by people that have no problem taking on a challenge. Like David, like how they teach me that we can do anything, that we should try, that we've already lost or not done it. If we say no, we're not going to try. And I am of the mindset that we should always try. I am past my time. We gotta go soon.
You're past your time. I know. And you gotta go grab the window for the kiddos. So what would be one quick nugget that you would like to share for everybody for how to live inspired every day?
Set aside time for yourself. If it's 15 minutes, if it's 30 minutes, and ideally it's 60 minutes, that time is for you to regroup, ground, dig deep, because life is hard and you're going to need energy to find it within you to conquer the challenge. Then, after you have your moment, go out into the world and say yes. Say yes to all the opportunities, because I don't think that we don't grow if we don't.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Thank you so much, my friend. I love you buckets. I miss you tremendously. I cannot wait to see you in person in 3 weeks. I will talk to you later today.
Talk to you later.
You guys, thank you for spending your time with us, getting to know Olivia Rebanal, who is one of my inspirators and who I adore so very much. Have a good one. We'll see you on Thursday for Inspirator Life on Thursday at 1 o'clock. And Olivia, enjoy your day. Give your kiddos a huge hug from me, okay? Give Dave one too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.